Welcome to Extracurricular Activities Week 9. I'm here with Red, of course, the dynamic duo of the extracurricular after-school activities. Welcome to the stream.
Well, thank you. Thank you for welcoming me to my stream.
Yep.
I'm very
welcome to
very
the
happy about that.
yeah. Well, I think we can just head straight into it. We got the freshman playoff bracket up on the screen right now. Let me check. So the last time we checked in, we saw TD Frost 3-0 QGK and QGP 3-1 Buddy Burgers in the first round of best of fives. You think that was expected?
I think we talked about the TDF QGK matchup last week. I still think it's shocking how dominant TDF is over QGK, and that's really worrisome for any other team because it's hard to imagine TDF losing at all. I will say the QGP versus Buddy Burgers matchup, QGP had been looking really good. I don't think it's a shocker that they won. That game actually was, I mean, that series was pretty close, right? Like, they streamed it last night because it happened last night, and Buddy Burgers kind of threw game 4, and if they didn't throw, that would have been a 5-game series, and who knows what would have happened, right? So that was a little interesting, but QGP came out. They took the win off the throw, and now they'll be playing against QGK, their sister team, in losers finals. Two things to note. The 3 teams you see here will all be receiving a prize pool. Cut, right? So that's pretty awesome, you know? And the other thing to note is that QGK versus QGP is happening right now.
I think they're starting at 9, I think. At least that's what I'm under the impression of.
They said they were going to start between 8 and 9. They weren't sure when. So yeah, I mean, what you see here is that QGP played literally yesterday, and now they're going to play another best of 5 today. That's got to be pretty exhausting.
Yeah, you better be real tilt proof after that one loss, because
Yeah.
playing that many games in a short time is pretty rough. Especially in this league, it seems that people have trouble playing 10 solo queue games.
Solo queue games, true, big true. I mean, I won't divulge too much into it, but you'd be surprised how many people can't even play 100 games for our next season, which we're this far into the season. If you don't have 100 games, I don't know how you could even play in any leagues. But that's just my diatribe. Anyway, so what you should expect to see is that we will know who gets third place tonight, right? And who will go on to grand finals. Third place tonight will finish and get $40, and then $60 for the second place team and $100 for the first place team. Pretty poggers for free entry league.
That is true. I mean, it's just pure profit at that point.
Yeah, just made money. Huge. The Queen's Gambit brand just made at least $100, right? So
True.
that's pretty dope.
That's buy-in for most leagues.
Yeah, exactly. I mean,
for two teams.
Not for their
two
ELO.
teams.
Not for their ELO.
Well, no. It's fine.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's the summary of this week for freshmen. We'll probably, if we can find any streams by Queen's Gambit this week, we'll host them after this, so everybody can jump straight into that matchup. But for now, let's just go over to sophomore, right?
Yep. That is next on the list. So the games that we saw this week, I believe it's just the one, is it not? Team Ambition Eclipse versus TD Blaze.
Yes.
So TD Blaze took that series 3-1 over TAE, knocking them out of playoffs. Feels pretty bad, but
yeah, it would have been fun to see like the TA rematch, Civil War rematch. See if what would have happened if they had went 5 games. That fun, because it would have been interesting to see freshmen have a sister team matchup in losers finals and sophomore. But TD Blaze rightfully took the win. I think TAE was kind of off their game that day, but that's not to discredit TD Blaze's win at all. They looked very good.
Yeah, I mean,
all 4. What's that?
I don't know. You cut out, so I thought you stopped talking.
Oh, I said it's very impressive what TD Blaze did. I think we said last week that all 4 of these teams could take the top spot, and I think that's still true. It'll be interesting to see if Aurora can get revenge, though.
Yeah. You definitely want to avenge your sister team that just lost. That feel real good as an org to do.
But I gotta say, these best of 5s, they're all feeling pretty close. I think the only one that wasn't close was the TD Frost one, right? But that TD Blaze TAE one could have also gone straight to 5 games. It was a very close 4th game, if I remember correctly. So, very close contest around the board, and that's what we like to see. It means we have a good competitive league, right? So.
Yeah, those 5-game series get, pretty exhausting for players. That's a lot of games to play in one night, especially if it starts at 8 p.m.
Right.
Yeah, so fatigue is a big factor in playoffs.
True. It's also important to note that, funnily enough, the TAE versus TD Blaze matchup was the matchup of the first seeds. Remember that? So we did get to see him play head-to-head, and TD Blaze came out with the dub, so that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, only one first seed remaining in this sophomore playoff bracket.
Yep, that is true. All right, let's hop over to the junior playoff bracket.
All right, so 2 games happened this week. We had BBC versus LES. BBC, you somewhat expect it to be a 2-0. LES had a pretty good first game against them. Yeah. And Zenigma actually lost to Puds in the second game, 2-1. So it will be BBC versus Puds in the winners finals best of 5 series. So it should be a pretty interesting match, you could say.
Yeah, I think it'll be straightforward. I do I like how Puds has been performing, right?
Yep.
Um, but it's hard to say that they beat BBC. But I kind of like what this Puds team is doing. I think they can make the gods bleed. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, best of
I,
5
I,
series. I mean, you have, well, I guess in theory you have 5 chances to make them lose, but I
we have at
mean,
least three.
yeah, at least 3 chances to make them lose.
Yeah. So I think the big takeaways from that was that I feel bad for discrediting Pud's win in any way because they deserve it, but I do believe Enigma had a sub, if I'm not mistaken. Sub top laner. Enigma can never field their full roster for whatever reason. And we know when they do, they feel like a really whole, strong team. But when they don't, it's like a coin flip on whether they win or lose. But that's, like I said, it's not to discredit Puds. Puds has been playing extremely well towards the end of the season. So it would be interesting to see if they can take a game off of BBC because BBC hasn't even dropped a game yet, right?
Yeah.
So
it is pretty cool to look at. So if you win your first match in the winners upper finals, you're guaranteed a prize pool no matter what.
yeah, exactly.
That's pretty crazy.
Yeah, I mean, that's the benefit of finishing top 4, right? So
yeah.
it's pretty cool. And then I think we can look at the lower bracket matchups. These are going to be kind of spicy. Well, I think one's going to be spicy, one's going to be kind of a stomp, if I'm honest.
Yeah.
I think the LES versus OMTH, I think that's a very spicy matchup. These teams have played each other before, I believe, in one of our preseason tournaments. And then, which, if I remember correctly, I don't know if they play. Maybe they didn't play each other, but I know LES won that tournament that they were in. So, and then Enigma versus Zen Esports, I think that's going to be very straightforward. I don't see Enigma losing that, just because of the downward trajectory that Zen Esports has had. But maybe they bounce back in their week off, and maybe they can come out, firing. Who knows?
Yeah, I mean, they have had a good amount of time to prepare. I think they've had essentially the week off. Maybe reset their mental, get some solo queue practice in. You never know what's going to happen after a week. So,
right, for sure. But yeah, I think the LES versus OMTH matchup is the one that everybody's looking forward to seeing, because I think both teams have been kind of performing well towards the end of the season. And OMTH loves telling me that they cannot possibly lose. So,
I mean, you'll see some predictions later in the stream as to how I feel that, but we'll see. I think we could just move on to senior now. I think we went over everything in junior.
Sure. All
right, so we also had another 2 matches in the senior playoff bracket. We had G7 Mirage 2-0ing Ithaca College. Omega Titans Esport Aries took down Akuma Blades 2-1. And that means the winners finals best of 5 will be G7 Mirage and OMT, the 1 and 2 seed coming out of the regular season.
Yep. I think that's very straightforward. I mean, I think people recognize that the OMT AKM matchup was kind of a toss-up, right? They're pretty evenly matched teams. But I don't think anybody would say it was surprising that they won. And I don't think anybody would say it was surprising that G7M took a 2-0, right? So very straightforward in my opinion. But the consequences of that is Ithaca drops down to play OMTA, and then Akuma drops down to play USC. And I gotta say, both of these matchups are looking hella spicy to me. USC is, like we've talked about before, the most dangerous 6th seed that any team could probably face. And then I think Akuma and USC have played each other before in the finals of an open ELO tournament here at RA, and it was pretty close. So it'll be interesting to see how they play each other in a best of 3 format. And then Ithaca versus OMTA, that's 4 versus 5, right? I mean, they're pretty close teams, so it'd be interesting to see how they play each other as well.
Yeah, that IC versus OMTA should be, I'd guess, a 3-game series. I think those teams are insanely evenly matched.
I would say all of these are going the full distance. That's my bold prediction.
Wow. Even the okay, in the round one series.
In both, I'm saying it. OMT's taken at least 2. That's my statement.
Maybe. I mean, we'll
OMT
see.
looks
We'll see.
good. Look. I mean, they definitely dropped the ball towards the end of the season, but they look a lot better than they did a couple weeks ago. They're kind of looking back on form, so they're definitely dangerous.
It
They made that roster change, and you could tell they definitely got a lot better. So
it does seem a little bit bad here for Akuma Blades. Most of the times when they I believe they were 3rd seed drops down to play the 6th, they're like, oh, okay, it's just the 6th place team, like nothing to worry about. We'll just go play the other team. Yeah, not with USC. You are definitely a little bit worried about that matchup, I'd say.
yeah, I mean, AKM definitely got shafted. You know, in terms of opponents, it might have actually been better to finish 4th than 3rd in this bracket, but I mean, time will tell, right? So
Yep.
hard to say for sure.
All right, you want to move on to these week 8 predictions and results? So your favorite section. This is the red section.
Yes.
All right, you can explain yourself for these ones.
Okay. Well, I mean, the fresh one I got spot on, like literally no errors whatsoever, right? And then things changed from there. TD Blaze versus TAE. I had going 5 games. It probably should have went 5 games. But TD Blaze took advantage of it. Wasn't that the game where they rushed mid when TAE set up for Dragon? Was that, and then like TD Blaze like backdoored and won the game?
That was one of those games. Yeah, that was game 4
insane.
actually.
Yeah, that was nuts. I remember watching that because we were pretty convinced TAE was like doing really well. They were going to
they had that game.
5. Yeah, they were going to force a game 5, and then they just dropped the ball in macro sense, and TD Blaze snuck with the win, and ended the night prematurely. Right, I think everybody was prepared for them to go 5 games, and then it didn't. So the juniors one, I think. BBC, obviously, very obvious prediction. And then this Enigma Puds was like a toss up. We kind of knew that going in. So it doesn't really surprise me that I got that one wrong. G7M versus Ithaca. Ithaca, I wish could have maybe. They did play well, right? I mean, they didn't look hopeless. Okay, I'll say that, right? I know they played with some subs. But there was potential there.
Maybe. I definitely think Ithaca could challenge like 2nd or 3rd. I'm not sure about 1st.
I think they could have took a game off of G7M if they had their full lineup and like 7 games, but True. They could have. But OMT AKM again, it's like Zen versus Puds. It was kind of like a toss up. I took AKM, and of course.
Yeah, you see what happened.
Yeah, but got the game score right, but yeah, just got the winner wrong. So overall, I think it was. I mean, it's not as good as last week, but it's definitely better than 2 weeks ago, right? I mean, it's closer.
Maybe
2 weeks ago it was pretty ugly. So.
All right. Let's go over these week 9 predictions. Me and Red both made predictions for this week, so here you go. You want to go first, or you want me to go first?
Sure, we could just talk about the matchups. There's 4. I mean, there's what 8 matchups this week. No, that's not right. 1, 2. Yeah, 8 matchups. Never mind. So first week for freshmen, we could talk about the matchup that's happening tonight. I got QGK beating QGP 3-2, and you have them beating them 3-1. So we've reached a consensus on who we think is going to win. I think QGP looks really good, to be honest. They look much better than they did in the regular season, and Sodalo is absolutely nutty. So I think, but overall, I think QGK is a better team.
Yeah, I was a little bit worried for QGP's macro. I only tuned in for, I believe it was game 3 when they lost, so maybe I'm just biased, but yeah, I definitely think QGK wins the series 3-1, but you never know. I mean, it's freshmen. Civil War obviously brings in some external forces as to what goes on in the game. A lot of different pressure than you're used to playing in a regular series. Yeah.
Yeah, I think a lot of these times when they're like civil wars, they usually go the full distance because they're usually having a lot of fun. So they're usually not as cutthroat as like other series usually are. So wouldn't be surprising if they going going the distance, right? So for sophomore, we have TAA versus TD Blaze. I think you are absolutely nuts with this prediction. TD Blaze looks really good to me. I think TAA looks a little better, so I have them winning 3-2. But you have them winning 3-0, so you need to explain
Yeah,
yourself.
I think they look a lot better than TD Blaze. I was a little bit worried that TD Blaze, I believe they swapped out their roster like mid series, which is
Mhm.
I don't remember their names. I think Ikazuchi got subbed out. I think their jungler went support or something. Toxin went jungle to support. They brought in Anderson Cooper, I think, if I'm remembering correctly. So I don't know, but maybe they just I'm worried about the confidence on their team.
I think they actually have a very interesting strategy. They run like a strong 6-man lineup, right? And with Altazi coming in when they need Ikazuchi to like sit down, and Toxin can off roll and play ADC or jungler. And I think I mean, we all, if you watched the matchup last week, you saw how Ikazuchi played. We know he's a good player, but he was really dropping the ball last week. And the fact that they were still able to beat TAE with those circumstances makes me very high on them. I think they could easily take this series 3-2 as well. I think TD Blaze could win this. I definitely don't think it's unwinnable for TD Blaze like you seem to. I just think TAA looks a little bit better in my opinion. So I got them winning in 5 games.
I definitely think it could go 4 games. I was just trying to be bold with the 3-0. I definitely could. I think it could go 3-1. I was just, I'm not one to make 5-game series a reality.
Right, because you have to broadcast them.
Of course.
You want to go to bed. I got it.
Yeah, 3-0s all around.
Okay, so for juniors, we have the winners finals, and then we have the losers. What, first round? I forget what we call it.
Yeah.
Quarterfinals, losers quarters. So BVC versus Puds, we align on that 3-1. I don't think there's really much explanation. We think the gods can bleed, but we don't think Puds is good enough to kill a god, right?
Yeah, I think they're gonna prick the god with a little needle.
A little needle, make a little one blood droplet drip, and then I think it's gonna get really gross after that. I think here's my bold prediction. Okay, somebody clip this, because if it happens, I'm gonna look like a prophet. Okay. BBC is gonna come out 2-0, right? They're gonna get complacent, have a little fun. They're gonna drop a game to Puds. And they're gonna come back game 4 completely pissed, and it's gonna be really ugly.
Really? I was gonna say they lose game 1, if anything. But they're gonna lose to some cheese strat level game 1.
No. I find in these best of 5s a lot of the time, teams get up 2-0 and they tend to lose game 3 a lot. Because they either get too complacent or too comfortable, and then they get like a little bit of a wake up call because they lost game 3, and then it gets ugly from there. That's usually what I see when teams are like outclassing other teams by such a large margin. And then LES versus OMTH. I got them winning 2-1, and I think what will be a very banger series. You have the OMTH winning 2-0.
Yeah, if you look at all the other games, I believe I have them all. Actually, never mind. I was just thinking it's the OMT type of week.
Really?
except for the senior team.
Okay, because we were on opposite polls. I don't have any OMT teams winning because I think they have really tough matchups this week. But you have them almost all of them winning. So
Yeah. A lot of these OMT teams we actually haven't seen in a while. So I'm a little interested to see what they do. I think they're gonna be a little bit better than LES on that day. I wasn't too convinced from even the first game against BBC. It was still they kind of dropped it after getting a lead.
I think both of the Ithaca College versus OMTA and then LES versus the OMTH series are going to be complete toss-ups, in my opinion. I think they could go either way. I have to pick a winner, so I picked LES and I picked IC, but it wouldn't surprise me at all if OMTH and OMTA won, like at all. But to me, LES they look a lot better than they did during the regular season. I think you would agree with that.
Yeah, yeah. Going from dead last most of the season to fourth seed definitely saw some improvement.
And then in their game one, they looked really good. I think their roster changes. No offense to Ravens, man, but their roster changes really benefited them, and they look a lot better. And then the last game for juniors, we have Zenigma versus Zen Esports. We both align on that. Zenigma looks like the second or third best team in junior, and Zen Esports is lucky they made playoffs, right? Like,
yeah, I have what is it? BBC, Puds, and Zen top 3.
You got them in that order, you mean?
Yes, I would have them in that order, but those are my top 3 teams.
Right, I think that's consensus, is that BBC's Puds and Zen are top 3, and then the order between 2 and 3 is what people debate on. So, okay, let's hop over to senior. I got G7M winning 3-2 over OMT. You got them winning 3-0. I completely understand where the 3-0 comes from. I personally would love to see 3-2. I know the last time G7M and OMT played, it was ugly, but that was the old OMT roster. OMT jungler didn't buy items level 1 in one of the games. It was just doomed. Yeah. OMT gets another try, and I think they're going to come back hungry, and I think they're going to take some games.
I think G7M did a little trolling the last time these two teams matched up with the full Omni Stone comp.
No, that was OMTA.
Oh, okay. I get the OMTs mixed up a little bit, but
that was the other OMT.
To pull that off when you have only lost one game in the season, you definitely don't want to throw away the win percentage. So, right. Yeah, I've just been on the G7 hype train since the beginning of the season. If you go back to week 2 extracurricular activities, you'll see I don't see them losing a game at all. So.
But then they did.
Well, yeah, one game. It's okay. It's okay. It's not the end of the world.
USD, right? To USD.
Yeah, well, that's my second place team, so.
Oh, okay. Right. Next, we have Ithaca College versus OMTA. I think we both agree that this matchup can go either way. You have OMTA winning it. I have Ithaca College winning it. I think if Ithaca can field their full roster, they'll win it. But if they can't, then I think OMTA is going to win it. That's my opinion.
Yeah, Jungler do a little bit of vacationing, you could say, literally. But yeah, I mean, I think Athena is probably just a slightly better team. They haven't been seen in matches recently either, so they have a little bit of a study guide, you could say, Runeterra Academy study guide against IC from seeing the last match they played. So maybe a little bit of an advantage for playing coming 5th.
I do have a message from Fun Phoenix from Performance Unenhanced Ducks. He wanted me to relay this to the junior teams. Our Gold 2 top laner has gapped every single top laner in this league while playing Cinched, Alawi, and TK. Smiley face. So just remember that if you're BBC, your top laner, what is his name? Is it not Corsic? Whoever I can't remember who your top laner is. Just know that he's gonna get gapped, so just draft around that, I guess.
True,
according to Puds at least. Yeah, just draft around it. It's Kenrick. Yeah, it's Kenrick. So tell Kenrick that we're not gonna ban any of those. Okay. Just tell Kenrick that he's gonna get gapped this week. It's something unavoidable. He is going against the infamous gold 2 top laner from PUD. So just draft strong bot side, right?
Just win.
And then so back to predictions. Last matchup in senior, AKM versus USC. Another banger, another close matchup. I got AKM winning it. You got USC winning it. And I gotta be honest, this is like watching my two children go head to head. These are my two teams that I love the most in senior because of the stories that surround them. And it hurts to see me see them play each other so early in playoffs.
Yeah, I think I personally have USC as like my second team. I think if they beat Akuma, they beat the rest of the teams, no problem. Other than G7, I think G7 just doesn't lose at all. So
imagine saying the 6th seed is the second best team.
Yep.
That's absolutely not. The guy, they won 2 matches.
Second best team.
Okay, all right. I mean, I disagree, but I think USC is a strong team. So, it wouldn't surprise me if USC won, especially because they had the week off. It'd be interesting to see what changes they make during that off week.
They have school. They can't take the week off.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's true.
They go to USC. They don't have a week off.
Ithaca College's jungler took a week off, right? He was on vacation, and they have school. So
this is USC we're talking about, though.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. All right, let's hop over to house standings.
Alrighty. Yeah, I don't think we've seen any change. I think this is the same as it was last week.
Yeah, I think like 1 or 2 teams moved within the individual houses, but the ranks of the houses hasn't changed at all. But we have seen eliminations, right?
True.
So for Ocean, Buddy Burgers was eliminated. So there's only 2 teams left, PUDS and G7 Mirage. If they both win first, I still don't know if it's exactly enough.
I'm pretty sure it's not. They're first and third right now, and they're fourth.
Yeah, I think they're kind of out. But it would be cool to see them win it all, right?
Yeah.
Nice story. Second and third place we have Mountain House. Did anybody get eliminated from? No, not this week. But there are some people that are on the chopping block, right? LES, Zen, and USC are on the chopping block. Any of them could lose and be eliminated.
Well, QGK as well.
Oh yeah, QGK as well. Yep, you're right. The only safe team so far is LEO, right? Because they're sitting squarely in grand finals. Sophomore. Second place we have Infernal. All of the OMT teams are in. They're in right now.
Yeah, that too looks pretty nice, but those 5 and 5s looking a little worrying.
Yeah, we could literally see half of these teams go out this week. QGP playing right now, so we could see a great reduction in the teams in either Infernal or Cloud. I think a lot of the Cloud teams are on the chopping block too, right? So it'd be interesting to see. Wait, how many Cloud versus Infernal matchups do we have this week? It could be pretty important. We have Ithaca versus OMTA, right? And then I think that might be it, actually. So there is at least one of them that's going to determine who gets knocked out, right? So OMT versus, all the OMT teams will have to fight. Well, except for OMT areas, right? They get another pass, but OMTA and OMTH have to fight for their lives, and so does QGP. And then in the first overall house is Cloud still. I think it's been this way. I think Cloud and Infernal kind of trade positions in the first 2 weeks, and then it's been Cloud ever since, right?
Yeah.
Or no, yeah, something.
Cloud. It's been Cloud pretty much the whole season, I believe.
Right. Well, we'll see, because Ithaca and AKM, they play this week. They're fighting for their lives, right? Zen Esports fighting for their lives. TAA fighting for their lives. I think TDB also fighting for their lives. TD Frost is the only one sitting in grand finals, right? And so they're the only team safe, but all these other teams could easily get eliminated this week. So that's a little scary, you know. That things can definitely change this week. We're gonna see a lot of teams drop. So
Yeah. Obviously, having a lot of teams in playoffs in your house is really good until it goes really bad.
yeah, for sure. I mean, a lot of these rankings can change. You know, TD Blaze could go from 1 to 3. Ithaca and Akuma can go down to 5 and 6. So I mean, there's definitely some changes that can definitely happen. So interesting to see how that turns out in the end. But still, I think Mountain still has a shot, right? They would need some heroics from USC and LES.
Yeah, I think mathematically they're still able to win if something terrible happens to Cloud.
Right, and Infernal. But I think if USC and LES, you know, end up, you know, bouncing back, we could see some movement in these rankings for sure.
Do you have the numbers anywhere?
I don't. Because I'm lazy. So.
Shame.
But so I think we're gotten to the point that everybody's been waiting for.
Potentially.
Junior and senior MVP announcements. I don't think many people will be shocked. Based on some of the things I've been reading, I think people have a good idea of who the MVPs are, but we should just go ahead and announce them anyway.
Yeah. So obviously, all 5 players from both classes are MVP or in the All Stars. So one of the 5 from each team has to win.
Right.
For the junior MVP of Runeterra Academy Season 1, we have from BBC CBR Acid, the jungler.
Oh, BBC
Shocker.
Acid. Wow, look at that clean graphic.
True,
That's
that Kazakh skin is nice.
amazing. Yeah, it is. Very nice skin. I don't think. You know what's funny about these? We got votes, right? We didn't get as many as we did for sophomore and freshman, but it seemed very consistent. That was the most surprising thing about reading some of these votes. All of the first place votes tended to go to one player, and then the second and third were like split between the other people. So it was kind of a consensus that CBR Acid would win, and I think it's well deserved, right? I think CBR has really gained a reputation with BBC and also the OMT. They really like this player, and he's obviously shown his dominance all season. So well deserved.
Yep. Yeah, I think you hit the nail with the hammer right there.
Yes,
however you call it. That is definitely a phrase. I definitely didn't mess that up. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Okay, let's go over to the senior one.
All right. So, for the senior MVP of Season 1 in Runeterra Academy, we have from G7 Mirage, Hecate Mask Off with this beautiful Trundle skin.
Wow, poggers.
Very pog. Clappers. Any claps in the chat?
That skin is literally so sexy, bro. I literally can't stop myself looking at it. But I mean, again, unanimous votes for first place for Hecate Mask Off. It's not that surprising. You know, it's funny to see. It's a. Actually, the graphic is wrong. I'm gonna have to get that changed.
He's a jungler. He's a jungler, dude.
Oh, he's a jungler?
He subbed in jungler 1 game, dude.
Okay. I'll have to get that changed before we release it. But yeah, well deserved. He played mostly Trundle and Kled all season, but he had quite a diverse champion pool, and his teammates seemed to agree with him. Like he did really well all season. They all gave him the first place votes. A little bit of brigading, maybe, but overall, excellent.
We do excellent a little brigading.
Also. Yeah. But yeah, that's it. I don't think we have anything else. Is there anything you want to say about the senior MVP before I make some announcements?
No, I think you got it. When you think of G7, you think of Hecate Mask Off, in my opinion. So he is the name of that team.
I mean,
in my opinion.
Sure.
Yeah.
I mean, I think of Steel City Warrior because they have 2 people named
Oh,
Steel City
that's
Warrior on their
cheating though, dude.
team. So, but yeah, I get what you're saying. So yeah, we'll fix this graphic real quick and then we'll post it. But announcements, you know, signups are open for next season. If your team's been eliminated and you want to compete again, signups are open. I'll tell you what, I'm very surprised by how many signups we're getting. We're getting quite a few. The league is filling up very quickly. I'm still holding spots for seniors and juniors, obviously, but I would still highly recommend if you plan on playing again to get an application in. Next, we'll be making some staff changes soon. Some people are getting promoted, some people are getting moved to different positions. So you won't see my face every 30 seconds, and you won't have to DM me at all. Lastly, I'll say thank you to everybody who was, yeah, PBS fired. I'll say
I'm
thank you to
fired.
everybody who was with us this season. It was so fun, so amazing to see our first season pop off like this. We got such great teams, and we worked so hard on this, all of the staff here. So we're glad to see everybody appreciated it. And yeah, I think that's about it. Remember, if you want to be staff, please send us applications. We are looking for staff, and nobody wants to be staff. Sag.
True, staff are
Pretty
very
cool.
important.
Pretty cool. We're pretty cool people. I'm just saying. I think that's it. So.
Yeah. I believe that is it for this this stream, as Red puts it. Thanks for tuning in. We will see you next week for extracurricular activities week 10. Can you believe we're in the double digits now? Pretty crazy, to be honest. Lot of games played this season. Yeah, well, thanks for coming out. We will see you next time on the Runeterra Academy Twitch channel. If you haven't followed, hit that button right now, by the way. Yeah, thanks. Bye.